Hello all, very good morning. In today's topic, we'll discuss regarding the disease condition diabetes mellitus. So coming to the topic here, what is diabetes mellitus means? Increased blood glucose levels in the body because of the body not producing the amount of insulin, enough amount of insulin, or because of the body it is not responding properly to the insulin which is produced in the body. So it is leading to the condition called as diabetes mellitus. So how many types of diabetes mellitus are there means majorly we have three types. So first one is type 1 diabetes mellitus, that is insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, and secondly we have type 2 diabetes mellitus, that is non insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, and thirdly we have gestational diabetes mellitus. So if you see, if the diabetes condition if it is not managed properly, it may lead to the serious complications in the person, and it may lead even to the death of the person also. And if the person is having good medical support from the professional health services, so they can lead a happy life by properly taking the medication, and they can live long they can live long as a normal life. So if you see here, diabetes mellitus, it is a part of metabolic syndrome. So when a person is experiencing the central obesity, so this central obesity, it is one of the major cause for causing the cardiovascular diseases. So if you see the type 2 diabetes mellitus and cardiovascular diseases, they are sharing some common risk factors. So the persons who are having the central obesity, these persons are having heart diseases, automatically they have lipid problems, hypertension will be there, and it may lead to the second type of diabetes mellitus, nothing but non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. So coming to the global burden here, so what are the number of cases that are present globally? If you see here, they are estimating that according to 2015 reports, so there will be like all the 20 to 79 year persons, they are getting affected. Now if you see, according to the 2015 reports, worldwide there were about 415 million people who are affected with this diabetes mellitus, and they are estimating that by the year 2040 it will be like 642 million people who are having this diabetes mellitus. Coming to the country wise, if you see Northern American and Caribbean countries, according to the 2015 census, there were like 44.3 million cases, and according to the 2040 census, there were like 60.5 million census. And now if you come to the European countries, European states, according to the 2015 census, there were like 59.8 million cases, and according to like they are predicting in the 2040 it will be reaching up to the 71.1 million countries. Coming to the Southeast Asia, means our countries, you can screenshot this picture and you can take down the notes here. So in the year 2015 they have seen the cases like 78.3 million cases, and they are estimating that it could be like 140.2 million cases by the year 2040. So if you see the global expenditure, so mainly the age group of 20 to 79 years old persons are here getting affected. So according to the 2013 basis, it was like 548 billion US dollars. So it was estimated that the cost may rise up to 627 billion US dollars by the year 2035. So this is the prevalence rate. If you see here, mainly worldwide 1 in 11 adults. So if you take the 11 persons, in those 11 persons, one adult is experiencing the diabetes mellitus. So if you see here, you can screenshot this map also, you can get the prevalence rate of this diabetes. So what is the mortality rate which is causing due to diabetes means? So if you see, because of this diabetes mellitus, about 5 million cases were died. So 5 million cases 5 million persons were died because of this diabetes mellitus in the year 2015. So all the remaining other problems also we can see, but the major problem is here the diabetes mellitus. So adults who died from the diabetes, adults who died from the HIV/AIDS, adults who died from the tuberculosis, and then adults who died from malaria. So if you compare all this data, we can find out more number of people they are dying because of this diabetes mellitus. So if you take the top 10 countries which are having this diabetes mellitus, so China is in the first position with 109.6 million cases. And secondly, our country, India is there, which is a very danger sign for the country. So it is estimated that by the year 2040 there will be like 123.5 million cases in the country, and but for the census 2015 it was saying that there were like 69.2 million cases in the country. So if you see the trends here, in 2000 there were like 32 million cases of diabetes mellitus, and in 2006 there were like 40.9, and if you see here in the year 2015 it was reached to almost 70 million cases, and by the end of 2015 they are estimating that it will reach to 70 million cases, and by the year 2030 it may reach to 80 million cases. So if you see the regional prevalence of this diabetes mellitus, coming to the Andhra Pradesh, we are having about 16.6% based on the 2001 census, and other states such as this Kashmir Valley, it is having 6.1%. New Delhi, it is having the about 10.3%, and Ernakulam, which is located in the Kerala, it is having about 19.5% according to 2006 census. So this one also you can screenshot if you want. So what are the, coming to the epidemiological factors? So what is, how the type 1 diabetes mellitus is coming means, it is mainly coming due to the autoimmune diseases, or it may come due to the selective destruction of these beta cells by T cells. So these beta cells which are present in the pancreas, these are responsible for producing the insulin in the body, required insulin in the body. So destruction of these beta Langerhans cells may result in the, it may result in the type 1 diabetes mellitus. And next thing is several circulating antibodies which are acting against the beta cells, and cause of autoimmune attack which is unknown, and we are having both genetic as well as environmental factors. Coming to the etiology of type 2 diabetes mellitus, if you see, it is mainly because of the response to the insulin. So whenever the response to the insulin is decreased, that may be due to decreased glucose uptake by the muscle or the fat, or increased glucose production by the liver. And coming to this mechanism of insulin resistance, it is unclear till now, and both the genetic and environmental factors are involved here, and also it is resulting due to the post insulin receptor defects. So if you see the comparison between the type 1 and type 2 mellitus, if you see here, onset of type 1 diabetes mellitus is sudden, because it is mainly occurring due to the damage in the insulin production. Mainly it is occurring due to the damage of the beta Langerhans cells which are responsible for the production of insulin. And if you see the type 2 mellitus, if this was mainly due to the resistance which is caused against the insulin. So the resistance is gradual. So if you see the age, the type 1 diabetes mellitus, it can occur at any age, and mostly you can observe in the young person. So it is also called as juvenile diabetes mellitus. And if you see type 2 diabetes mellitus, it is mostly occurring in the adults. And the body means, in the body shape coming to the type 1 diabetes mellitus, either it may be a thin or it may be in a normal shape of the person. If you see type 2, it is mainly causing in the obese person, and ketoacidosis, it is more common in type 2 diabetes mellitus. Ketoacidosis is rare. And if you see the auto antibodies, so they are usually present here, and in type 2 diabetes mellitus they are absent. And endogenous insulin, they are low or sometimes they may be absent. So mainly it is because of the decrease in the insulin production here, type 1 diabetes mellitus. And coming to the type 2, it may be normal, it may be decreased, or it may be increased. And if you see here, the prevalence rate, type 1 diabetes mellitus is less prevalent, and if you see the type 2, they are more prevalent in cases. So what are the risk factors for this type 2 diabetes mellitus means? Aging factors, family history, ethnicity, and physical inactivity. The persons who are leading the sedentary life, the persons who are having overweight and obesity, and the persons who are taking high fat and low fiber diet, urbanization and low birth weight. So these are some of the causes for the risk factors for the type 2 diabetes mellitus. So if you see here, we have modifiable risk factors, we have non-modifiable risk factors. So if you see the non-modifiable risk factors, we have genetic factors, we have age factors, and we have ethnicity. If you see the modifiable, so obesity and physical inactivity. So if the person is reducing their weight, it may decrease the risk for the diabetes mellitus. And if they are increasing their physical activity, and if they are they're properly maintaining their metabolical factor. So if you see here in this picture, diabetes runs in the family because nobody in the family is running. So where the physical inactivity is more, so there the obesity is increasing. With the increase in the obesity, it may lead to the cardiovascular diseases, it may lead to hypertension, or sometimes it may lead to the diabetes mellitus also. So if you see the risk factors for this type 2 diabetes mellitus, coming to the host factors, we have age, sex, and we have genetic factors, and we have defective immune response, and we have central obesity. And coming to the environmental factors, we have sedentary life, high saturated fat intake, malnutrition, and failure of this beta Langerhans cells, and excessive alcohol, the persons who are consuming more amount of alcohol, and viral infections such as mumps and rubella, and chemical antigens such as alloxan and streptozotocin and cyanide, and environmental stress. So these are some of the risk factors. So coming to the dietary factors here, so characteristics of fat intake, eating more number of dairy products, and increased glycemic load, western diet, fast food intake, and soda intake, and alcohol intake. So all these are some of the risk factors. The persons who are taking more number of sugars than the required amount, it may result in the type 2 diabetes mellitus. So if you see here the age distribution of this diabetes mellitus in India, it is mainly occurring at the age of 35 years of age. So you can see here 33.6 means the age group who are having at the age that is from 30 to 35, these persons are more likely to get this diabetes mellitus. So coming to the gender here, so if you see the number of cases in the men with diabetes, according to 2015 census, they were like 215.2 million cases. So it is estimated to be 328.4 million cases by the end of 2040. And if you see in women, according to 2015, there were like 199.5 million cases, and by the end of 2040, it was estimated that there will be nearly 313.3 million cases. So if you see the diabetes mainly in the urban areas, so it was like 267.7 million cases. Why? Because the urban people, they are living more sedentary life compared to the rural people. The physical activity is more, inactivity is more compared to the rural people. That's why you can see more number of prevalence in the urban areas, and diabetes in the rural areas according to 2015 census was like 145.1 million cases, and it is estimated to be 163.9 million cases by the end of 2040. So what are the complications of this diabetes mellitus? Means we have short term effects of this diabetes mellitus. We have ketoacidosis, and we have recurrent or persistent infections which may include the tuberculosis also. So both hyperglycemia and hypoglycemia, they may cause due to the coma. You have vomitings, you have stomach pain, you have rapid breathing, increased pulse, and sleepiness will be there, dry mouth will be there, flushed face will be there, and fruity breath will be there. So these are some of the complications. So we have long-term effects with this diabetes mellitus. So long-term effects include stroke, visual impairment, mainly because of this diabetic retinopathy, cataract, and glaucoma. And we may develop the heart diseases, we may develop bacterial and fungal infections, we may develop the atherosclerosis, we may develop kidney diseases, and there will be sexual dysfunction, autonomic neuropathy might be there, and peripheral nerve disease will be there. And gangrenes may occur, peripheral neuropathy may occur, and ulceration may occur. So these are different types of complications which were occurring in the diabetes mellitus patient. So coming to the prevalence and timeline and complications of this diabetes mellitus. So the persons who are having this diabetes mellitus, 70% of the people with diabetes mellitus, they are mainly experiencing the heart attack or stroke, which if the diabetes is like more than 15 to 25 years, so we have these possible complications. And the kidney disease may occur in 10 to 20% of the people. The people may develop eye diseases after the 15 years of diabetes mellitus, and 2% of the people, they are going the blind, and 10% of the people, they develop severe visual impairment. And if you see 50% of the people, they are developing the nerve diseases. So there will be like ulcers forming in the lungs, ulcers forming in the legs, there will be gangrenes which are forming, and the wound healing will be in a delayed process. So these are some complications which were related to the prevalence and timeline of the diabetes mellitus. So if you see here, once the diabetes is coming. So we have genetic suspectability, we have environmental factors, we have nutritional factors, we have obesity, and we have physical inactivity. It will lead to the insulin resistance. So this insulin resistance will lead to the hypertension. So hyperinsulinemia, so there will be decrease in high density lipids and there will be increase in triglycerides, and this atherosclerosis, it may result in the hypertension. So whenever a person is having this ongoing hyperglycemia, so whenever there is increased sugar levels in the blood or the body, it will lead to the atherosclerosis, it will lead to the hyperglycemia, it will lead to the hypertension, there will be retinopathy, there will be nephropathy and neuropathy. So because of this, it may result in the disability. So disability may include blindness, we will experience the renal failure due to diabetes mellitus, we have coronary heart diseases, and it may lead to the amputation of the limbs of the person in case of diabetic ulcers, if it in case of any gangrenes, in case of any vascular neuropathy. So all these are the things, possible causes which can occur because of this diabetes mellitus, and even it may lead to the death of the person also. These are some of the complications which were associated with this diabetes mellitus. So we'll discuss regarding the prevention and control of this diabetes mellitus. So how the prevalence rate is increasing, because mainly when a person is getting aged because of the age changes, because of the body changes, because of the dietary habits, we are experiencing this diabetes mellitus. So urbanization, especially in the developing countries, and more sedentary life, the persons are always leading the sedentary life and the physical activity is decreased here, which is leading to the increased levels of fat and as well as the obesity. So if you see the food consumption patterns here, so the persons are habituated for taking more foods with high fat content and more refined carbohydrates. So these are mainly leading to the increase in the prevalence of this diabetes mellitus. So what we have to do to prevent this diabetes means, so why should we prevent this diabetes mellitus means mainly to reduce the human suffering, and to, if you want to improve the quality of life, we must be free from the diseases. So the diseases, the long term diseases, this such as this diabetes mellitus, these should be avoided to improve the quality of life, and we can reduce the number of hospitalization cases, and we can reduce the mortality which is resulting to the diabetes, and we have to reduce the sudden cardiac death, which is a major complication with this diabetes mellitus. So these are some of the reasons that we should prevent this diabetes mellitus. So if you see the human economic cost, so as the new cases are occurring, there is more increase in the demand for the insulins to be produced, and there is more demand for the hospitalization, and there is more demand for the other medication, which is globally causing a great burden for the countries as well as the family as well as the person itself. So coming to the levels of prevention which were there in this type 2 diabetes mellitus means, we have primary, we have secondary, and we have tertiary. So primary prevention, it is including the activities aimed at preventing the diabetes mellitus which is occurring in the suspectable population. So the persons who are having the suspension with this diabetes mellitus, so these type of populations are identified and they are given proper health education, so that the risk factors of this diabetes mellitus are reduced and people will follow the proper and regular exercises and the disease can be prevented. Nextly, we are discussing regarding the secondary prevention. So the early the diagnosis, the early the treatment, the diabetes can be controlled, and there will be delaying in the progression of the disease with proper medication. And tertiary means, whenever a person has entered, mainly we are giving the large amount of insulin and we are maintaining the person to prevent the complications and to prevent the disabilities which are resulting because of the disease diabetes mellitus. So if you see here, mainly the primary prevention strategies, mainly we have to change our diet, we have to increase the physical activity, and we have to utilize the pharmaceutical agents to improve the glucose tolerance and insulin sensitivity. So these are some of the primary prevention strategies. So what are the approaches means, so population strategy. So in this population strategy, we are mainly focusing on the primordial prevention. So prevention of emergency of risk factors. So the persons who are having these risk factors, they should be avoided mainly by maintaining their body mainly they're maintaining by their weight and adopting the nutritional and healthy habits and doing the physical exercise. These will reduce the risk factors for the diabetes mellitus. And next one is high risk strategy. So the people who are leading the sedentary life, the people who are having obesity, people who are having the alcoholism, people who are habituated for smoking, people who are having high blood pressure and elevated cholesterol and triglyceride levels. So these people, they should be screened and they should be treated accordingly. So these are some of the primary preventions. And if you see the secondary prevention, in secondary prevention we are doing active screening and we are identifying the asymptomatic people who are having the diabetes mellitus. We are doing the population screening, we are doing the selective screening, and we are doing the opportunistic screening. With the proper approaches we are able to reduce the disease pattern here. Mainly we are doing the urine exam. See this urine examination, mainly we are doing for the glucose test here. So it was done after 2 hours after the meal. So it was not followed due to the lack of sensitivity, and it is not appropriate for finding a case. Next thing we are doing is mainly blood sugar testing. So it was the standard oral glucose test. So 2-hour value after 75 oral glucose was given. We are measuring the fasting, we are measuring the random, and we are measuring the postprandial blood sugars. Coming to the tertiary prevention, so it is including the action to prevent the delay and development of acute or chronic complications. So mainly strict metabolic control is done, education is done, and effective treatment is given. And mainly we are screening them for the complications in their early stages, and with this intervention it is more effective. Mainly we are screening for the diabetic retinopathy. So and we are preventing the disease before it is occurring, and also we are educating the person, we are giving them the pressure relieving interventions, and we are giving them multidisciplinary clinics. And in tertiary prevention, renal failure in diabetes can be detected by proper screening. If you test the urine, we can observe the microalbuminuria. So with the microalbuminuria which is present in the urine, we can find out the patient is experiencing the renal problems, and the disease can be treated even before the signs and symptoms are occurring there. If you want to know regarding the National Diabetes Control Program which was established in India, I will give you the link in the description. You can check out this National Control Program of Diabetes mellitus also. So this is regarding the diabetes mellitus. So if you like the content, please like, share and subscribe the channel, and if you have any queries with the disease, you can drop them in the comment box. Thank you so much for watching.